Hi, my name's Sam and welcome to another book review. Today I'm going to be reviewing These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I actually got a e-copy of the book from NetGalley in exchange for an honest review. So here we go, my honest review. Quick warning, this book is not for the faint-hearted. So this is a Romeo and Juliet inspired novel, but if they were gangsters and set in 1920s Shanghai, and there's also a monster on the loose. The way that I've kind of explained what the book is about is kind of how I felt about the book. There was a lot to love, but there was a lot going on. Let's break it down. So I think the plot is pretty straightforward. You've got Romeo in one gang and Juliet in the other. So to start with Juliet, she is a great character. She's tough, ruthless, she's not afraid to go after what she wants. She's actually has experienced a life in America, and going back to Shanghai, she's found struggles with how people were perceiving her there. There are a lot of layers to this book, which I really admire the author for putting in. Roma, on the other hand, that's right, Roma, not Romeo. Roma is a softer character. He's charming and averse to violence, although he still finds himself in situations where that's difficult. They've made Juliet the hard character and they've made Roma the softer character. I like that. And in general, the representation in this book is absolutely awesome. There's some transgender, we've got romances which aren't just male and female. I like the way it was done because it was handled in a very natural way, and that's how it should be. The way the characters are introduced is steeped in backstory. I felt, as a reader, a little bit pushed out. That's actually kind of my biggest criticism for this book, is there's a lot of telling where there should have been more showing. Let's move on to the world building. I love how there were languages were used and they were seamlessly integrated some of the time. Other times it took a bit of time before they explained what had just been said. And for me, it was just another thing that pushed me out rather than pulled me in. I felt the same way about the politics. The tension between the two gangs was brilliant. Whenever they're in the same room, you can really feel that there's a lot of history there. But there's also all the different nations are talked about, and there's also talk of this nation has this power and that nation has this power, so they want to get them on their side because of the power of the nations. And I don't really think it affected the overall plot that much. The politics here was more just to do with the setting, and so we didn't really need it as in-depth as it was, and the writing for it was kind of not interesting. I'm so sorry. I always feel really bad for not liking a book, like it's my fault. Oh yeah, and you also have a creepy monster. I mean, I really liked the creepy monster. At first, it really did pull me in. I thought, oh, this story just has so much going on. But then, like, other bits of the plot started to take over from it. It became less interesting. I liked the supernatural aspect of it. The motivation for what was really going on. I don't want to say convoluted, but maybe you do. I think the biggest thing for me for this book is I kind of lost interest. It really drew me in, but it kind of pushed me out, and in the end it was like a tug of war that the pushing won. I guess it's not really a tug of war, is it? So the writing. The writing in places, don't get me wrong, is gorgeous. The aesthetic is on point. There was so much exposition in this book. Just so much. And every time that I would get into the book, we would like swap point of view, or it would just become this big thing about a circle. Okay, where was I before I got rudely interrupted by the battery? In general, I felt the book was just trying to do too much. There was a lot of good stuff in it, but I just felt like it was all bogged down. It would have been much better if it had a narrower focus and it took out a lot of the exposition and instead put in just more scenes to develop the stuff that was good about this novel, because there was so much that was good. I liked the love story, I liked the characters, I loved the setting. It did kind of pull me back in right at the end, but then it ended on a cliche and a cliffhanger. And at that point, I'm kind of done with this series. I don't know, I just didn't like it. I wanted there to be more time with Romeo and Juliet, or I wanted them to have more time interacting with the different people in their gangs. I also wasn't keen about the multiple points of view. I thought it would have worked so much better if we just saw Romeo, just saw Juliet. And it's when I start switching on my editor brain, I know a book's kind of lost me. So These Violent Delights just weren't for me, I guess. I would give this book 3 stars. I just personally didn't connect with it. Thank you for joining me with this review, and I'll see you in the next one. Awkward wave!